Allen v. Farrow. I was originally not going to review this or even watch it. I never watched Finding Neverland because even though it seemed like a gripping story, it did indeed seem like just that, a story. Everything I read about the credibility of those two people involved and how many times they'd contradict themselves on basic stuff made it seem like a money-grabbing smear job. I was expecting the same thing here because I'd long since made up my mind on Woody Allen's innocence. I was a little kid when the scandal broke. So even though I knew about the SUNY Previn thing like everyone did, I didn't even realize he was accused of molesting his own adopted daughter, Dylan, until after he got the Lifetime Achievement Award, the 2014 Golden Globes, and then Dylan's brother and supposedly Woody's biological son, Ronan, sent out a tweet about it. And then I read a New York Times article from some friend of Woody's to try and debunk misconceptions about him, saying, a lot of people won't believe the worst about Woody because of the SUNY thing. But here's the truth. He wasn't her stepdad. SUNY considered Andre Previn only dad. He wasn't married to Mia. Woody never once spent the night at Mia's house. And so on. Regarding Dylan, he had some conflicting things to say. Dylan believes this really happened. So did Moses. I want the best for her. And the issue kind of died until Ronan, who's a journalist for the New York Post, but broke the story on Harvey Weinstein in 2017 that led to the whole Me Too movement. And then Dylan wrote an op-ed to the New York Times, which they wouldn't publish thanks to their love affair with Woody Allen, New York City's the love affair of all of it. So Rowan had to use a contact to use his space to publish it. And then on his horse came the white knight, Moses, the boy who was adopted by both Woody and Mia. And then he wrote a long article supposedly destroying any claims of Dylan's. I bought into it. I mean, he regurgitated some of those points from that New York Times article earlier about how much Woody was not a father figure to SUNY. Regarding the Dylan stuff, Moses supposedly disproved it, saying, she's suddenly throwing in the electric train set. There was no train set in the act. It couldn't have been. Why is it the first time you're mentioning it, Dylan? And then some stuff about Moses was the man of the house that day, supposed to keep a sharp eye on Woody, and everyone was watching him like a hawk. He couldn't have done anything. And really, he supposedly mustered one time in the middle of a bitter custody dispute with everybody watching him, a house surrounded by people. He never did anything inappropriate before, and he talked about Mia's abuse, how much she'd beat you until you, or do other horrible things unless you said exactly the things she wanted. So yeah, that settled it for me. But then the case still fascinated me, so when this documentary came out, it wasn't what you're gonna watch. I was reading some comments and I found I don't know as much as I think. I didn't know as much as I think I did, thought I did. So eventually I was convinced to watch it. Well, we certainly learned a lot. Dealing with some of the things that have been said by Woody's defenders. No, he never lived with Mia per se. Never spent the night at her home, but she spent the night at his. Would spend whole weekends there with the kids there. And he would come to her house before the kids woke up, would stay until after they went to bed. There's even video of him going on family vacations with them. Even Mia's biological kids, who were also Andre Previn's biological kids, who had a relationship with him, were saying Woody was more the father figure to the family because, Andre wasn't around every day. And regarding the claims, Suni considered Andre her only father figure. It's made clear that Suni was adopted only a year before Mia and Andre divorced, and because she was so withdrawn after being an older child adopted from a country where she had traumatic experiences, she never got a chance to build a bond with him. And Woody's, based on testimony from doormen and maids at his apartment building, lied about when he started the affair with Suni, and based on physical evidence from condoms. And you might be saying, well, this is hearsay, and it's basically about Dylan anyway. So let's talk about that. The police documents at the time drawing the crime scene showed the train set there. And she never brought it up before that 2018 essay. We see on screen the documents indicating that many times she was forced to tell her story right after the molestation happened. At least 7 times Dylan mentioned the electric train set. So fuck off, Moses. As far as he was the man of the house that day, even Woody himself under oath say he didn't see Mose that day, he got out for a walk. So no, Mose was not keeping an eye on Woody. As far as other people were supposed to keep an eye on him, they couldn't find him at one point because he went the one place where they couldn't find him, the attic. He lied about being in the attic, but there was physical evidence he was in there when the police investigated. And yeah, regarding the claims, Dylan was coached by a bitter Mia. There was video evidence. There were audio taped phone calls from the time. Mia wanted to work things out even after the Suni scandal broke. In fact, Woody referred to Suni as a fling, saying she found a college boyfriend. He only said he loved her as a kind of damage control after the molestation was reported. And yes, everyone's watching Woody like a hawk because of that's why I had to go to the attic to molest Dylan, but it wasn't just because of the Suni thing, but because he'd been inappropriate around Dylan for years. So many family members, close friends, and family employees, like babysitters, have spoken about how inappropriate Woody was with Dylan, constantly smothering her. And then he's trying using the excuse. Yeah, he's spending a lot. And it's a matter of fact that he had to go to therapy because how inappropriate he was being with Dylan. But he says that was because he was trying to keep her from feeling neglected after Mia was spending so much time with the new baby Ronan. Oh, by the way, Mia adopted the baby Dylan because Woody said he might be interested in being a father if Mia brought home a little blonde girl. So that's what Mia did. Blonde is Dylan's natural color. And then he on national television, when Mia was pregnant with Moses, Woody said he hoped it was a girl. Strange thing to say, but from someone who already has a girl he's crazy about, but then I guess he was seeking another sexual plaything. But ironic thing is, Rowan had been a girl with the same blonde hair. I think Woody might have pursued similar things with that girl, but that wasn't what happened. So he left Mia to take care of Ronan while Woody constantly whisked Dylan away. And yeah, he says trying to keep from feeling neglected because Mia was always smothering Ronan, but Mia was never in therapy for the way she was treating Ronan, showing too much interest in him, anything more than what a mother would show to a baby. And oh yeah, if we try to keep Dylan from being neglected, why would, according to Dylan and to the other family members, the nannies, whatnot, was he constantly surrounding her, even when she didn't want him there. She just wanted time with her May siblings, with a babysitter, whoever. And yeah, Woody's it's going back to Woody's defense that Dylan was coached by Mia. Woody's advocates have tried saying, oh, he was cleared by 2 separate year-plus long investigations by the Yale New Haven child abuse clinic and the New York State Police's Child Welfare Department. But let's talk about those. The Yale and New Haven one, we have various medical and children's experts in the documentary talking about how the messed up things with the Yale New Haven report. Dylan was apparently made tell a story 9 times. You never, according to these experts, make a child abuse victim tell a story that many times. You want her to tell a story the smallest number of times possible so as to minimize the trauma she gets from reliving it. And if she repeated word for word what she said at different times, then it was written that she sounded too rehearsed. If she changed a word, then her story was inconsistent. She had trouble distinguishing fantasy from reality. Oh yeah, give an example, supposedly distinguishing fantasy from reality. She called a mannequin head a dead head. Yeah, because no 7-year-old does that. Or she used the phrase magic time, which she'd learned from movie sets. Yeah, because no 7-year-olds, parents are both actors, would do that. And also, they destroyed their notes. The Yale New Haven investigators, Woody's defenders, have tried saying, well, that's because Woody was found determined to be innocent. But here's the thing, destroyed them before there was even a trial. At the judge in the custody hearing that happened, disregarded the Yale New Haven report as non-credible for several reasons, among them the fact that they destroyed their notes. Now, there was no criminal trial. We'll get back to that. First of all, with the New York State investigation, the investigator originally in charge was someone who had an incredible record of helping child abuse victims. He'd actually become the first ever person with that specialization to win the New York State Award for Outstanding Investigator. It happened just the previous year. And after doing his investigation, he found Dylan credible, believed she was molested. And how was this man rewarded for that? He lost his job. The New York governor, other higher-ups, had a vested interest in getting Woody off the hook. Not only did his movies made year after year bring so many millions to New York's economy, but he was considered really a part of New York culture. Notice when the Academy wanted to do a tribute piece to New York after 9/11, who did they bring on board to do it? Woody Allen. And as far as the Connecticut investigation, in spite of, another thing, they're clearly in cahoots with him. They told their conclusions that Dylan was not abused to Woody himself directly instead of giving results to the, he got to have a press conference about it. That's instead of them giving to the prosecutor who commissioned it like they were supposed to. And despite that, the prosecutor found probable cause. The physical evidence, the testimony of everyone involved, including Mose at the time. He was a teenager, so old enough to be reliable. This is before he changed his story a decade and a half later. But yeah, the other family members, the caretaker's family, friends, and Dylan herself, all three specialists from different departments of the government found Dylan credible. So this Connecticut prosecutor made a press conference. We see the footage announcing he had probable cause, but he tried talking to Dylan about it. The child just couldn't talk about it anymore. That horrible Yale New Haven investigation, among other things, had left her so traumatized and burned out that the prosecutor decided, okay, let's not harm this child anymore. And Mia was fully on board that. Even more than she wanted to hold Woody accountable, she wanted to protect Dylan. Hey, by the way, Moses, Suni, if Mia was so abusive like you claim, why do all 9 of her other surviving children stand by her? Moses, you've tried using the fact that one of her children commits suicide against her, as if no one who doesn't have an abusive mother ever does that. Yeah. And some you have tried missing 3 of her kids have died, but one had AIDS and did drugs, and one reportedly died of heart failure. Most says that one was a suicide, but I don't find credible on anything anymore. And some Woody defenders have tried saying, oh yeah, Mia was nicer to her white children, her biological children, the adopted Asian ones, but the surviving adopted Asian children ran other than but Moses and Suni are still part of Mia's life. A couple of them are adopted 4 children, I should say. Yeah, a couple of them are right there in the documentary speaking on her behalf, and they're adults in control of themselves, whether they want to do this or not. They know what they're doing. And by the way, besides her older biological children doing well for themselves, as well as the adopted children still in her life, Ronan is a child prodigy, finished college at the age of 15, has since worked for the UN and as a direct advisor to Hillary Clinton when she was Secretary of State, and now is the journalist who brought on the Me Too movement, is helping hold other people accountable, such as his supposed father, as he's made the dark joke about, also his brother-in-law. Anyway, I've talked a lot. This is by far my longest post, but it got me worked up. All I'll say is I was originally going to write a written post about this and pair it with Woody Allen was a carefully selected since there are 4 plus documentaries, so 4 movies I have previously seen, 4 I haven't but would like to, and 3 of them from different eras of his life, plus 2 which tie into controversy somehow. But yeah, I think Gonna watch another movie of his again until he's dead. He's 85. Hopefully there's not much longer. Actually, that's one other thing. The whole idea of a woman coaching her child to say she was abused in an attempt to hurt the father. That pretty much never happens and didn't even exist as a thing. Oh yeah, I didn't molest my kid. It's really hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. No, it didn't exist before Woody Allen made that defense famous on a national level. And now, according to one of the nation's leading family lawyers, you can find that defense used somewhere in a hearing in the country at least once a day. And just like most of the time when adult women or teen girls say a male raped them, instead of getting mad at him, they'll scream that she's a lying slut and her life will be ruined. And by same token, 98% of the time when a mother says that the father molested their kid, the father will use the, she coached the kid to try and hurt me defense. And God, the documentary gave the name of the defense, I don't remember, but I really hope that defense dies a quick death, as quick as Woody Allen. And but yeah, the court will almost always give the father custody if he uses that defense, and then 88% of the time, the children end up molested again. So think about how many thousands of children are on Woody Allen's hands. It's not just about Dylan. In spite of being despite being happily married, having a daughter of her own, we get scenes of the 3 generations of Farrow women bonding up. And despite being a published author now, Dylan's still hurting so much, but it's all about the thousands of other children's stories we never hear that we have suffered thanks to what Woody Allen did. But yeah, aside, before he dies, the only movie I'll ever watch again would be the only one that I own. It's a Blu-ray that I got years ago, so I can't return now. So if I watch now, he's not getting anything additional. I can't take back what I already gave him, and he's not getting anything additional if I watch the film I already own. I do love it, but I'm not going to say what it is because I'm not going to, I don't want to advertise his work at all. Wow. Well, that's it now. Usual routine about following my blog and vlog, but look forward to being back next time with much more upbeat stuff to say. Thank you.